In the last 20 years, Raval has experienced reputation transformation, and it is becoming one of the most cool places for foreigners to live if they come to Barcelona. So this led to a gentrification process in Raval and also in carrer Ferlandina, in which all the places that used to be factories or places for the workers are Airbnbs or alternative shops or rented apartments for foreign students that want to live the genuine Barcelona experience.
At the beginning of its times, Raval was a place covered by open fields. As time went on and the industrialization process was spreading, Raval began to be covered by factories and some buildings for the workers. Years after, the neighborhood was filled by low-income people. This effect increased in an upsurge of migration due to the Universal Expositions, which took place on 1888 and 1892. During the 1930s, the locals, which stayed in that neighborhood throughout time, claimed an improvement of the conditions in which they were living, but the dictatorship and repression put an end to this movement.
My name is Adrià, I'm 19 and I've lived in Barcelona all my life with my family in Les Corts. But even though I'm from here and from Barcelona and I've lived my entire life in this city, when I come to Raval and carrer Ferlandina, I don't feel I belong here. I feel like not a tourist because I know it is my city and I identify Raval as part of my city, but I don't feel comfortable walking around this street because it is not the representation of Barcelona I have in my mind. Because for me, Barcelona is the place I've lived all my life, and my family, my friends, my school, the streets I know, the people in the local shops. When I walk around these streets, I don't feel like I know anything about this place. This is why I think Raval is part of Barcelona and I feel it is part of Barcelona, but I don't feel being part of Raval. Once I have thought about this, an idea comes to my mind, and it's like, who feels local here in Raval? And I don't think people who live somewhere like Les Corts, Sarrià or other neighborhoods feel they belong to this part. To become a local in Raval and to feel a local in Raval, you have to have lived all your life here. There are a lot of ideologies around here. I don't think maybe the granny on the other side of the street feels like she's a local here. I think Raval is a global place inside a city.
Hi, my name is Madam Ali and I'm from California. For me, as a foreigner living in Barcelona, I believe that this street specifically stands out to me in the way that it represents the different amounts of culture in the entire city of Barcelona, but yet specifically in Raval, and how there are so many different cultures just within the neighborhood of Raval itself, and how this street, Ferlandina, captures all of that in one single part of the city. That's definitely represented through the stores that you see here, the way the streets are, and essentially the people that you find in these streets, which you wouldn't necessarily find anywhere else. And for me, that's not something that I'm normally accustomed to, because from where I'm from, everything is essentially the same in the way that it looks, the way it's presented, and the people that live there. And so it lacks the kind of diversity that you see here in the drastic amounts of changes that you see on every corner of the street. Prior to coming to Barcelona, how I myself imagined the city was a very capitalist, very commercialized city, which is actually the complete opposite of how this street and essentially the neighborhood of Raval presents itself. Here on the street, you see skaters, you see different cultures, you see different shops, and more of an alternative side of Barcelona that you normally wouldn't get from the stereotype that Barcelona presents as itself.
My name is Carla, I'm 18 years old and I live here during the week in Barcelona, but I'm actually from Girona. So, though I live here the entire week, I don't feel like a local because I have very clear in my head that my home is Girona, but at the same time I really feel very adapted to here in Barcelona and I feel really comfortable. The hours of the day that you are in the street really change my experience as a young woman living here. The ambience of it changes drastically from when I go and pick up my bag in the morning. For instance, everyone is cleaning the street and Magba is also being cleaned, so no one is in the street. It's really different from when I come back from university or from when I go out. and I arrive late, I actually feel quite insecure. Another thing that I think is special of this street is that the architecture is pretty different. The building I live in is the exception of the street, meaning that it was built by Núñez y Navarro, which is a really famous architect, and it's pretty new, the building, compared to the other one. The feeling and the people who live here is also really different, because here they are owners, few people are renting flats, whereas the other buildings that are around here, many people rent them, and therefore there tend to be more foreigners living in there. And me living in this street, I actually feel really safe, but I wouldn't feel that living like just a street away from that one. When I go there and it's late at night, I really don't feel that comfortable in there, and so this is really an exception of the street. It's really well maintained because it goes from Magba to San Antonio, and therefore many tourists walk through here, so the vibe you get in here it's really different. ¿Cuánto hace que vives en esta calle?
47 años.
¿Has notado que ha cambiado mucho?
Antes venía, ahora cargo de la compra. Venía mi hijo de trabajar en el social. Ahora si le dejo, sé que encontraré trabajo.
¿Y te sientes cómoda en la calle viviendo aquí? ¿Qué te gustaría cambiar? ¿No?
Cuando quites eso te lo digo.
¿Ves que esta calle es diferente a las otras del barrio?
Sí. Y la calle primero es más ancha. Y se ve de otra manera. Hay otros pisos de otra manera. Nunca tuve problema, porque es muy interesante. Porque sales enseguida y tienes la calle más ancha, tienes la gente así. Y para atrás,
No vas.
nunca. O ayer, en la calle de atrás, no, en la otra más atrás, debió de haber, que hay muchas curvas y mucho...
Ya.
Como va a dar a las Ramblas,
Claro.
esto es mucho paseo.
El día, por la mañana, a la tarde, a la noche, ¿cómo notas que cambia también la calle?
Piensa una cosa, de que la noche, sobre todo ahora que tiene ya buen tiempo, el menudeo está todo por aquí. Tú fíjate la de gente que hay.
¿Hay algún sitio cerca o...?
Sí, detrás de vosotros.
Ahí, ¿verdad? Esa...
Oh. Y hay otro aquí.
Madre mía.
Otro ahí.
Bueno, arréglate que nos vamos.
Trobeu diferent aquest carrer de la resta del Raval?
Molt, molt. O sigui, sí que s'assembla per mi una mica estèticament.
Que està com més al centre i ja es veu que no és Raval profund, potser.
Sí,
Està com més modernitzat, les tendes i tot, també.
sí, però també el tipus de gent que hi ha.
Us sentiríeu més segures aquest carrer que no pas a un altre que sigués més cap a dins del Raval?
Ara m'hi sento molt a gust, perquè tenim Sant Antoni al costat, a més que l'edifici en si està molt ben...
Molta seguretat.
Molta seguretat. Exacte.
Aquest carrer és més com la part turística del Raval i per tant està més cuidada de cara al turista.
Exactament.
És que només passes per la plaça del Raval, del Magba, i et canvia tot, o sigui, l'estil, els edificis, tot. I esta zona està molt bé, o sigui, és superneta. I tot el que és el Raval està molt net, o sigui, fa molt bé.
I a l'haver-hi dues universitats també molt
As said by Doreen Massey, instead of thinking of places as areas with boundaries around, they can be imagined as articulated moments in networks of social relations. After this research and sharing our different perspectives on this unique street in Barcelona, we have learned the varying concept of space and how it is shared amongst different individuals based on how we perceive our own reality. If it is now recognized that people have multiple identities, then the same point can be made in relation to places.